Hello, all my dear students. I'm Amit Ajmani, your educator and your mentor, and I welcome you all to Sri Jendra Rank Zone classes. I hope all of you are doing good. In the previous class, we have completed up the chapter Improvement in Food Resources, in which we have studied about the various ways in which we can improve the food resources, whether it is the crop production or the crop variety or the crop protection involved related to the crops, or the animal husbandry, in which we tried to improve the food resources by improving the poultry breeds, by improving the fish culture, by beekeeping, and by dairy and meat producing cattle farming. So now we are going to check what exactly we have learned in this chapter. Let us see a few questions which are related to improvement in food resources. The first question says that the crosses between the plants of same variety are called. If the variety is same, then the options given are interspecific, intravarietal, intervarietal, or intergeneric. Now, because the variety is same, so this type of cross is called interspecific between the same species. So A is the right answer. Coming to question number 2, plants having similar genotypes produced by plant breedings are called. Let us see what are the options given to us. Are they the clones, or the autopolyploid, or the haploid, or the genomes? So the correct answer is clone, because they have got the same genotype which are produced by plant breeding, and if they are having the same genotype, they will be exactly similar. They will be the clones to each other. So this is A, clone, the right answer to question number 2. In question number 3, examiner is asking that the dwarf wheat was developed by. Now this dwarf wheat variety led to the Green Revolution, and it was developed by M.S. Swaminathan. I hope you all must be knowing this answer. If not, please note it down because this is important question. Fine. As always, I want you all to keep a pen and a register, a notebook with you, so that if anything which is related to such a topic which we didn't discuss while teaching, it's better to note them down. Fine. Next question is, quickest method for plant breeding is introduction, selection, hybridization, or mutation. Out of these, the quickest word is important. Quickest one is hybridization. Hybridization, we know that it is the cross breeding done between the various varieties, and it is the quickest method of plant breeding. So C, hybridization, is the answer we are going to mark. Next question asks that objective of plant breeding is it to obtain better yield? Of course, yes. Let us see the other options. Is it to get the better quality? Exactly, this is what plant breeding is done for. Next option is disease or stress resistance. Exactly. These are all the various purposes or objectives for which the crop variety improvement or plant breeding or hybridization is done. So the answer is all of these. All of these are the reasons for which plant breeding is done. All of these are the objectives of plant breeding. Coming to the next question. The disease resistance crop is obtained by. Is it by crossing with new varieties, or by crossing with wild varieties, or by injecting with organic compounds, or none of these? Now, if we want to get disease resistance crop, This is done by crossing them with the wild varieties because they have more resistance to diseases and they have got wider circumstances or the atmospheric resistance. They have got more adaptability. Clear? Next question is the name Norman Borlaug is association with. This is associated with Green Revolution, right? We know Green Revolution is the increased production of wheat. White Revolution, Yellow Revolution, Blue Revolution, we have all studied about them, right? The Yellow Revolution relates to the oil, blue with the fish, and white with the milk. And Norman Borlaug is associated with Green Revolution. Again, a question with which, if you are aware of the answer, very good. Otherwise, you need to note it down. Fine. Coming to the next question. A manure supply makes which nutrients available to plants? Is it nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, or all of these? Now we must remember that a manure is never nutrient specific. It is the fertilizers which are artificially made and they are nutrient specific. So if we are talking about manure, it is going to add all the nutrients in small quantities. So the answer will be all of these. Clear? So all of these, D is the correct answer. Next question is crop rotation is used by farmers to increase. Now what is the purpose of doing crop rotation? Is it to increase the soil fertility or to increase the organic content of the soil or to increase the community area or to increase the nitrogenous content in the soil? Now the correct answer is A, soil fertility. By doing crop rotation, the farmer's objective is to increase the soil fertility because if he wants to increase organic content, he'll be adding manures. For increasing nitrogenous content, he'll be adding either the fertilizers or he'll be just growing the leguminous plants. And community area can't be done with the help of crop rotation. So it is A, the soil fertility, which will be increased if a farmer is practicing this crop rotation. Next question is beekeeping is known as. Beekeeping, is it pearl culture or the sericulture or the pisciculture or the apiculture? Beekeeping is called apiculture. Fine. So D, apiculture is the answer we are going to mark. The next question is Apis dorsata refers to. Now this Apis is, we know it is a variety of the bees. Now is it the rock bee or the Indian bee or the little bee or the European bee? Apis dorsata refers to the rock bee. The European or the Italian varieties A. mellifera, we know that. The little bees A. florae, we know that. And Indian bees Apis corona, right? So it is the rock bee whose other name is Apis dorsata. A. Rock bee is the answer. Fine. Let's see question number 12. Which of the following is called marine fish? While teaching, I especially told you to learn the examples of marine fish as well as freshwater fish. So the options given to us are Katla Katla, Labiurohita, Bombay duck and Walagoatu. It is the Bombay duck. It is the marine fish variety. So you are going to mark C as your answer. Coming to the next question. Pearl is obtained from. I think this is one of the most simplest question. Is it the fish or the whale or the oyster or the sepia? It is from the oysters. Pearls are obtained from oysters. Clear? Let us see question number 14. uprooting of weeds is a method of controlling them by dash means. If we are trying to uproot the weeds, right? The options given to us are biological methods or the cultural methods or the mechanical methods or the chemical methods. Uprooting is a mechanical process. For biological, we must have added some microorganisms or certain organisms which used to eat the weeds and will let the crops remain. By the chemical methods, we'll be just killing the weeds by spraying some weedicides. Cultural method is not applicable to remove the weeds, and because we are talking about uprooting them, that is why we are saying that it is a mechanical method. So B, mechanical method is the correct option. Next question says that integrated pest management discourage the excessive use of the biological methods, mechanical methods, chemical methods, and variable cultural control. Now, when we talk about the integrated pest management, they actually just discourage the excessive use of any harmful substances. And because among these, the harmful one are the chemical pesticides. Therefore, B, chemical pesticides is the answer we are going to choose. Clear? Question number 16. Cow dung is appropriately used as, is it used as a manure or a fuel or medicine or building material? I think everyone can make out the answer. It is used as manure. Cow dung may be used as a fuel, but its calorific value is so less that it's not the appropriate use of cow dung, neither in medicine and nor in building material. So cow dung is used as manure because it is the excreta. It contains the organic matter which is going to add humus to the soil and hence will increase the soil fertility. Right? Next question asks what exactly humus is. Is it the partially decomposed organic matter or the completely decomposed organic matter or the partially decomposed inorganic matter or the completely decomposed organic matter of pond? Now, let us try to remove the options first. It can't be completely decomposed. Why? Because if it is completely decomposed, nothing will be remained in it. So, B option and D option are directly no-no. Now we are left with whether it is partially decomposed organic matter or partially decomposed inorganic matter. So when we are talking about humus, and in the above question we have seen that cow dung is used as a manure and manures provide humus. So it has to be organic matter, not the inorganic matter. So it is A. That is the answer to this question. Got it? Let's see the next question. The scientists who are concerned with the improvement of plants, they are known as, are they the plant breeders or the microbiologist or the pathologist or the economist? Can't be economist, of course, because they deal with economy. Can't be pathology because pathology is basically all the study of radiations and all this pathological experimentation. Microbiology deals with the genetic study. It is the plant breeders. This is the name given to those scientists who are concerned with the improvement of plants. So A, plant breeders is the answer. Let's see the next question. A bit long question. Let us read it out. Some chemical elements are required in large amounts by the plants for their proper growth. These inorganic elements are called macronutrients or the macro elements. We know this already. It is the definition of macronutrients. Which of the following elements do not come under the category of macronutrients? So you need to learn the examples of macronutrients and the micronutrients. Phosphorus is required by the plants in large quantities. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, they are required. Manganese is a micronutrient. Magnesium is a macronutrient. Iron, molybdenum, chlorine, they all come under the micronutrients. So out of these, phosphorus and magnesium are macronutrients, but because in the question we are required to answer that which of these do not come under the category of macronutrients, so we'll be opting for manganese and iron, that is option number 2 and 4, which is given in this C part. Both 2 and 4, these two, manganese and iron, they do not come under the category of macronutrients. Clear? Coming to yet another long question. Let us read it out. Manure is organic matter used to enrich the soil with nutrients and also improves the physical structure of the soil. Okay, let us read further. Following are given some statements regarding the composition or effects of using manure. Find out the correct sentence about manure. So out of these four given options, we need to find which of these statements is correct. Let us see one by one. First statement is that manure contains large quantities of organic matter and small quantities of nutrients. What do you say? Is it the correct sentence or not? Exactly, it is the correct sentence. Manures are not nutrient specific, right? Let us see the second option. It increases the water holding capacity. Yes, they do, but please make sure that you read the full sentence. It increases the water holding capacity of sandy soil. Manures cannot increase the water holding capacity of sandy soil. So this is an incorrect statement. I hope you are able to relate the confusion created by the examiner, and if some of you are in a habit of reading half sentence and assuming whether it is correct or not, please get cautious, beware, because this is the perfect example to relate how the examiner can create confusion and can lead you to click the wrong options. So it is an incorrect sentence because sandy soil, the manures are useless for increasing the water holding capacity in sandy soil. Next is it helps in draining out the excess of water from clay soil. This is a correct statement. We are dealing with the type of soils here. When it comes to clay soils or adding the manures, the excess of water will be drained out. So this is a correct statement. Next statement is its excessive use pollutes the environment because it is made up of animal excretory waste. Obviously, this is an incorrect statement. This is in itself contradictory because manures are made up of animal excretory waste. They are organic degradable substances and hence they cannot pollute the environment. So out of these first, second, third and fourth option, the first option is correct and the third statement is also correct. So among the options given to us, we will mark first and third, which is given in the A option. So A option is the correct option. Let us come to question number 21. Now in this question, let us read what the examiner is asking us. How do weeds affect the crop plants? We know what are weeds. These are the undesired, unwanted plants that grow in the fields. And how do they affect the crop plants? Do they kill the plants in the field before they grow? It should be FIELD. They do not kill the plant. This is not the correct statement. They dominate the plants to grow. Not at all. They compete for various resources of plants, causing low ability. It should be availability. Some misprinting, I suppose. I apologize for that. By causing low availability of nutrients. Exactly. This is the main reason why weeds are undesired, because they compete with our main crop for various resources like air, water, space, right? So that is why they are undesirable, and this is the effect of weeds on the crop plants. So C is the answer that we are going to mark in this question. Coming to the next question, among the following, pick out the correct statements. So that means in these four, we need to find out which statement is correct and we are going to mark that statement. Let's read out the options. Hybridization means crossing between genetically dissimilar plants. This is a correct statement. This is what hybridization is. Second statement is cross between two varieties is called as interspecific hybridization. No, when we are talking about varieties, it is intervarietal, not interspecific. So it is incorrect statement. Let us see the next one. Introducing the genes of desired characters into a plant gives genetically modified crops. Yes, such crops are called GMOs, genetically modified, because we have modified these by introducing the new genes. And why we have done it? Itself in the statement it is mentioned, because we want desired characteristic into the plants. So this is also a correct statement. Next, cross between plants of species is called as intervarietal hybridization. Incorrect. It should be these two should have been, actually they are wrongly placed. The above one is the intervarietal, that is the cross between two varieties, and this one is the interspecific because it is between the species. So fourth is also an incorrect statement. So out of these four, we got to know that first and third statements are correct. Looking out for the options, we see the first and third statement are seen in the A option. So this is what we are going to mark A to be the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Fish is an important aquatic food which is rich in proteins. Agreed. The act of capturing, preservation, and utilization of fishes is called fish culture. We know that. Among the following statements, choose the option which does not describe the benefits of fish culture. If we are doing this fish culture, we obviously have got certain benefits. Let us see among these statements which is not the benefit of fish culture. The first statement is a large number of fishes are raised in the small area. This is one of the benefits and one of the reasons why we are doing fish culture. So this is a correct statement. It describes the benefits of fish culture. Let us see the second option. Economically important and desired fishes are made available. This is why we do fish culture, because we need something in the form of economic improvement or improvement in food resources. So this is also one of the benefits of fish culture. Next is there is more mortality in the younger stages of the fish. No, because if the fishes are going to die in the younger stages, why we will be doing this fish culture? We cannot do any process which actually is mm, killing these fishes, because the whole purpose of doing fish culture is improvement of food resources. How can the food resources be improved if we ourselves are killing them? So this is the statement which is not a benefit of fish culture. Let us see the next statement also. Through selective high hybridization, yield and quality of fishes are improved. Exactly. If we are selecting which particular desirable traits and which particular breeds we are going to crossbreed, obviously the yield and quality is going to improve. So out of these four options, option number C describes something which is not the benefit of fish culture, and that is why it is our answer. Fine. Let's see the next question. The National Dairy Development, it should be Dairy Development Board, NDDB, designed and implemented the world's largest dairy development program called Operation Flood, which came out to be the reason behind the White Revolution in India. Can you name the man who is known as the father of White Revolution? It should be man, because we are using is, so we are talking about one single person. We have to tell the name of the person who is known as the father of White Revolution. And who is he? He is not G. Namalwar. He is not Abdul Rashid or Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose. He is Dr. V. Kurian. He is the one who is known as the father of White Revolution. If you know, perfectly fine. If you don't, please make sure such type of questions which are name specific, you need to learn them, and for that you need to note them down. Clear? Let's come to the next question. In the next question, it is saying there are present numerous exotic breeds of poultry which have been successfully acclimates in India. One of the most popular exotic breed of fowl in India, which produces long white eggs, which has a very small body size, so needs less feed for its maintenance. What is the name? We have to choose the right name for the breed with all these characteristics. Now this breed of fowl which has all these characteristics is the white leghorn. B. This is the variety we are talking about, which has very small body, requiring less feed for its maintenance, and it gives long white eggs. It is an exotic breed of fowl, white leghorn. B is the correct answer to this question. Clear? Coming to question number 26. Along with the indigenous are the Indian breeds, the exotic varieties, exotic are foreign breeds. So along with the Indian breeds, the foreign breeds of honeybees are also widely used for commercial production of honey in India. The Italian bee named Apis mellifera or A. mellifera is the most commonly breed domesticated in India. Which of the following is not a reason for the preferential use of this breed? Now, if you remember, this was the last topic of our chapter that we did yesterday. Why we preferred Italian bee A. mellifera. We know all the reasons, so we can take the odd one out. Among these four options, we can easily find out which of these is not a reason why we prefer A. mellifera. Number first is it is gentle in nature. Now, this is a correct statement. Italian bees are gentle. So it is one of the reasons that we prefer A. mellifera. It stings less. It has the ability to protect itself from enemies. It does have this ability. It has good honey collection capacity. This is also true about A. mellifera. And it has prolific queen with more swarming. It should have been less swarming. So D is not correct about the Italian bee variety Apis mellifera, and hence D is the answer we are going to mark. Clear? Let's see the next question. Growing different crops in the same field in a pre-planned succession to improve the quality of the crop yield and maintain the fertility of the soil is known as. Now we are growing different crops in the same field, right? In a pre-planned succession, one after another. What exactly is the name given to this particular process? This is known as crop rotation. We rotate the crops in a pre-planned succession, which actually improves the soil fertility. It is not plant breeding, because this plant breeding is the process of hybridization. It is not intercropping, because intercropping is growing two or more crops simultaneously, not in succession, and that too in a particular fixed row pattern. It's not crop management. Crop management includes lot many things, right? So it is crop rotation, A, which is the right answer. Let us see what question 28 has in store for us. In order to obtain the good quantity and quantity of yield in dairy and poultry farming, which of the following management practice should be followed? So if we want to increase the quality and the quantity, one should be quality and another should be quantity, right? So if we want to have the good quality and good quantity of dairy as well as poultry farming, out of these four options, which of these we should practice? Proper housing facilities, having hygienic conditions, we need to follow this, right? Because this is going to ensure the proper health. Next option is preventing the entrance of sunlight into the cattle farm. No, sunlight should come, right? We should not prevent the entrance of sunlight. Yes, we should make such shelters that they should be protected from direct heat. But sunlight, proper ventilation, everything is must for the proper breeding and proper rearing of the poultry and dairy animals. Next option is prevention and control of diseases and pests. This is a must criteria, because if we do not control the diseases, if we do not control the pests, if we do not prevent these diseases, the cattle, the poultry, they are going to fall ill, and obviously unhealthy poultry or cattle cannot give us proper quality and proper quantity of yield. So we need to follow this third step also. Next is maintenance of proper temperature. Obviously, we need to maintain the proper temperature, because both dairy and poultry animals, they are warm-blooded animals. They come under mammals. So obviously, their body temperature is fixed, and if we are not maintaining the outside temperature, that may cause the diseases or the decline health of these animals. So out of these four options, except the second option, we should follow all the rest of the three, right? So we are going to mark the option B here. First option we need to follow, third we need to follow, and fourth we need to follow. Clear? Coming to the next question now. increase in oil production is a golden revolution, white revolution, yellow revolution, or blue revolution. We have already discussed above. Yellow revolution refers to the increase in oil production, and the rest we already know. Blue revolution, increase in fishery; white revolution, increase in the milk; and golden revolution, we are still thinking about it, right? One left one is green revolution, that is increased production of wheat because of the dwarf high yielding varieties of wheat. Clear? So the increase in oil production is yellow revolution. In question number 30, what we are asked is organic farming does not include. We know what exactly organic farming is. Organic farming is the kind of farming which consists of little or no use of any harmful chemical substances, right? So the answer is directly B. Organic farming does not include any chemical fertilizers. All organic and all natural things are used, right? So green manures are used in organic farming. Crop rotation is practiced. Compost and farmyard manures are once again the type of manures. So all the manures, whether it is green or compost or farmyard, they are extensively used in organic farming. But chemical fertilizers, pesticides, they are not used. Clear? Next question is, pulses are rich in. Are they rich in carbohydrates or oils or proteins or vitamins and minerals? We know, all of you are aware that pulses are rich in proteins. So B is the answer that we are going to mark. Let us see the next question. The technique used to obtain variety with high yield and other desirable characters is it introduction or selection or hybridization or both A and B? It is not introduction, it is not selection, it is the process of hybridization, in which we crossbreed two dissimilar varieties in order to get the desirable characters. So hybridization, C, is the answer we are supposed to mark for question number 32. Got it? Now coming to the next question, question number 33. It says that growing two or more crops in definite row pattern. Now if we are talking about definite row pattern, it has to be C option, that is intercropping, right? If it would not have been definite row pattern, it simply would have been growing two or more crops, then it would have been mixed farming, rather mixed cropping, not farming, it would have been mixed cropping, right? And crop rotation, we already have studied that it is basically growing two or more crops in a pre-planned succession. When we are talking about mixed cropping or intercropping, it is the simultaneous growing of two or more crops in the same field, in the same patch of land. And the only difference is that if it is without any definite row pattern, if it is random, it is mixed cropping, and if it is in a definite row pattern, it is intercropping. So C is the right answer to question number 33. Coming to the next question. Which one is a micronutrient from for the crop plants? Micronutrients are the nutrients we know that are required by plants in small quantities. And out of these, calcium, no, it is a macronutrient. Magnesium is a macronutrient. Iron is a micronutrient. Potassium is again a macronutrient. So iron is a micronutrient. Fine. If you have learned, very good. But if you have not learned, please learn all the 6 macronutrients and the 7 micronutrients out of the 13 essential nutrients. And the rest 3 we know are carbon, oxygen and hydrogen, which are obviously must. Clear? Coming to the next question. Maximum milk yielding buffalo is. Is it Nagpuri or Mehsana or Surti or Murra? It is Murra. Murra is the maximum milk yielding indigenous or the Indian variety of buffalo. Others are also the varieties, but when we talk about the maximum milk yield, then it is Murra. Once again, this question is worth noting down if you didn't know the answer to this question. Clear? Let us see the next question. The fungus disease causing maximum death of poultry bird is. Now this question has been asked 2 or 3 times and the answer is aspergillosis. This is the fungal disease due to which maximum death of poultry bird is caused. So please note it down and make sure that you remember it. It is aspergillosis, fungal disease causing maximum death of poultry. Got it? Coming to the next and the last question, that is, which of the following is the high milk yielding variety of cow? In the above question number 35, we have seen about the buffalo. But when it comes to the cows, it is Holstein, Sahiwal, Dorset, Red Sindhi. Out of these options, Holstein is the high milk yielding variety of cow. Again, I want you people to note this question. Whichever questions I circle, that simply means that there are only 2 options. One, you have learnt it, you have read it somewhere and you know the answer perfectly fine. But if not, in that case, such questions you must learn, you must know. And for that, you need to note them down side by side. Because later on, if you just try to be confident and you want to be reliable on your own memory, I don't think that is a right option. It's not possible to remember 8-10 questions after 2 hours or 2 days or 20 days. So it's better always note down such questions chapter wise. And for that I have already told you, keep a register and make a note of these, and every 10-15 days gap please make sure that you go through these pages and these questions and their answers. And at times there are certain questions in which you need to relate the options also. Why? Because those options will help you in revising the other topics. Got it? So this is all about improvement in natural resources, and you must be glad to know that this is all about your full biology. Improvement in natural resources is your last chapter of biology. So we have completed up all the chapters one by one. We have discussed the questions related to all the chapters. I don't know whether you have been learning these as per my advice or not, but if not, it's never too late to start again. Make sure that one by one you are reading and learning the chapters and you are trying to attempt the various questions related to that chapter. Try to revise, try to recheck yourself and try to make yourself sure that you are through and thorough with the chapter. Clear? So time to end the class. This is all about the chapter. Now in the next class we'll be meeting with the next new topic. Till then, make sure you learn. Till then, make sure you complete your all the pending work and make sure that whatever you are doing, you should be doing it thoroughly. Just not casual reading. Casual reading is not going to help you out when you are preparing for your exams. In that case, you need to give your best for it. Fine? So just make sure that you are learning them, not reading, not understanding. They are not sufficient. Learning them is important. And keep on revising them. It's not that once you have learnt and that will be remaining there in the memory forever. No, you need to revise. Fine? So I'll take a leave now. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for being with me. And till the next class, take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.